Нехай прийде царство Твоє, нехай буде воля Твоя, як на небі, так і на землі. Хліб нас насущний дай нам сьогодні, і прости нам провини наші, як і ми прощаємо винуватцям нашим. І не веди нас у спокусу, але визволи нас від лукавого. Амінь. Слава Ісусу Христу! Слава Україні!
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank all our friends from all the different communities that have come to join us in our protest against what is happening in Ukraine. I can see our Syrian friends are here, our Georgian friends, Lithuanians, Polish people, our British friends. There's many British friends here with us. So I welcome you all. Venezuela, absolutely. A very big contingent from Venezuela and Belarus. Russia. Oh, yes, here we... I didn't see the flag. As a matter of information, I know that the BBC and the media didn't really give it too much shrift. But yesterday in Russia, over 50,000 people gathered in Moscow to support Ukraine. That's marvelous. And all over Russia, there were over 1,000 demonstrations with varying numbers of people taking part, but there were over 1,000 demonstrations in Russia itself to support Ukraine. And it just shows that the Russian people are not really our enemy. It's really Putin's imperialism, his imperial... And perhaps together, Ukrainians and freedom-loving Russian people will achieve what we need to achieve. Thank you. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Bogdan Ciprina, one of the organizers for Euromaidan London. And as I said, we've been doing this close to more than 3 months now. We started in November, and our protest started as being pro-EU protests. And just like in Ukraine, the protests had changed gradually against corruption, against the corrupt government. And gradually it kept growing, and then about democracy and freedom. Ukraine has always, historically, found itself at a crossroads. And that crossroads is still there. We have one tyrant trying to pull us in one direction, and the will of the people want to go in another direction. And unfortunately, even though we got rid of a dictator, Yanukovych, that shot his own people, he ran away to Russia. We have a bigger enemy now, Vladimir Putin, with his... With Putin's actual... he's got a Napoleon complex, that's all I can say. But irrespective that the whole world is actually turning against him, he is still determined to carve up Ukraine.
Може розтягнути цей, поправте.
Не вставайте з цим профором.
Сюди?
I'll announce it in a minute. If you wait here. Since we're running a little bit late at the moment, we'll come to the official part of our program. And the first word that I want to give is to Zanko Lastovatsky, who is the president of the Associations of Ukrainians in Great Britain. Thanks to their help and support, Euromaidan London could do all the things that it's been doing up to now. So, Zanko. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Dear fellow Ukrainians, friends of Ukraine, thank you for your participation here today. Today, Ukraine and the world has reached a seminal point. Does the world stand by and let a dictator like Putin trample over the freedoms and sovereignty of other nations as he has done with Ukraine and the Crimea? Installed bandits to hold fixed referendums where you have two questions: do you want to join Russia or do you want to join Russia? The most bent referendum ever held in the world. The time for talking is now over. The world now has to react. The West, especially Europe and the US, have been talking a lot about sanctions. We already know the result of Crimea, so there's no further reason to hold back from imposing those sanctions. President Putin and his oligarchs will only understand one thing, and that's if it hits their pockets, which it must. They also need to understand the world is not just going to stand by and give in. He must also understand this will backfire on him. As already been mentioned, peaceful protesters in Russia, in Moscow yesterday, were already protesting against his actions. Those protests will only get louder and they will spread far beyond Moscow. The world now has to stop a madman. They have to stop a tyrannical madman. If they don't, this will merely stoke up more potential and bigger problems in the future. The world stands with Ukraine. The world needs to understand all Ukraine wants is to live a normal life. We don't want war. Mr. Putin wants war. But we can't let him do that. We have to stop him. And he also has to remember his history. In 1914, when the Tsar set off his troops to join the First World War, there was great euphoria. Within 4 years, the Tsar was dead. The same will happen to Putin. People who believe in democracy, people who believe in freedom, will not stand by and watch this happen. Ukraine is not dead. Ukraine will never die. Thank you for your support. Slava Ukraini!
Putin, hands off Ukraine!
Putin, hands off Ukraine!
Putin,